statement of compliance. This meeting is being held in conformity to the Open Public Meetings Act. Proper notice of this meeting was published in the local newspapers on June 7, 2014 and June 8, 2014. If any board member or member of the public in attendance believes that this meeting is in violation of the Open Public Meeting Act, the Hoboken Board of Education requests that they make a statement at this time. The board wishes to make those in attendance aware that this meeting is being recorded on video and will be broadcast on cable television channel 77 and FiOS channel 46. The Hoboken Board of Education is committed to preserving the decorum of the public process and is mindful that we live in an electronic age of computers, cell phones, and other electronic communication devices. Nevertheless, we respectfully request that all meeting participants kindly silence their electronic devices during the course of the meeting, and if use of the device is necessary, we ask that you please leave the meeting room if you need to conduct personal business. Thank you, and please rise to salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Biancamano.
Present.
Ms. Evans.
Here.
Mr. Cluffell.
Here.
Ms. McAllister.
Here.
Ms. Mitchell.
Here.
Ms. Sobolov.
Here.
Ms. Stromwall.
Here.
And Dr. Gold.
Here. Just for a way of information, we're going to have to go into executive session, so the way we're going to do it is we're going to have the recognition, we're going to have the superintendent's report, and then we're going to have the BA report. Then we'll be going into executive session, and why don't we say now what it will be for? To discuss personnel matters. And litigation. And collective bargaining. So.
Committee first, too, or no?
No. And then we'll have, it'll probably be about an hour or so. Okay, superintendent report?
You have recognition.
Recognition, okay, please.
Good evening. This evening I have the opportunity to recognize Students of the Month for the month of May. I will only speak on the students that are here. We have a couple minutes. Students missing. Huh?
Oh, Brianna.
Brianna Cortez, okay. Okay, so the first student I'm going to start with from Calabro School is Phoebe DeLeo. Phoebe is a sixth grader at Calabro School. She puts great effort in whatever task is presented to her. Her incredible work ethic and her ability to collaborate with peers makes her a fabulous role model at Calabro School. Phoebe has maintained good grades throughout the school year and is very attentive in class. She's always willing to help out in any way possible. Phoebe has a positive attitude and is a good student and a good friend to others. She is an excellent listener and always follows directions. It is with great honor that I present this certificate as the May Student of the Month from Calabro, Phoebe DeLeo. Our next student is a third grader from Connors Elementary School, Jamie Rodriguez. Jamie is a third grader at Connors Elementary School that all teachers love to have. He's an amazing young man who strives to learn all that he can be. At Connors School, we have Connors Cares, traits that we live by and encourage each other throughout the day. They stand for commit to learning, act responsible, respect everyone, efforts matters, and soar to success. Jamie continually exhibits all 5 traits daily and encourages his classmates to do the same. Jamie has amazing perseverance when completing work that is difficult for him. If he doesn't understand his work or has a question, he doesn't hesitate to ask for help. He always completes his work, even when difficult, and when he might struggle to understand a given assignment. Jamie arrives daily with a smile on his face and ready to learn. He has a desire to learn and strives to continually improve. He's a very dedicated student and has high aspirations for his future. Jamie is hardworking and focused on being successful. Additionally, Jamie always has a positive attitude and is a model student for the student body of Connors. Please join me in recognizing Jamie Rodriguez. Mr. Fitzhugh stood in for Jamie. Okay. Our next student is from Wallace Elementary School, 6th grader, Miracle Emanuele. Miracle shows concern about her academic standing and overall standing as a student. She has leadership qualities, an outstanding attitude, and cooperates with all students and staff. Please join me in recognizing Miracle Emanuele. Next student is from the junior high school, Brianna Cortez. Brianna is a 7th grader. She is an excellent worker and is always polite and helpful. She takes her academics very serious and enjoys school. Also, she has been on the honor roll all year long. Brianna is an excellent example for the other junior high school students. Please join me in recognizing Brianna. Our senior high school student of the month for May, Nicole Barron. Nicole is the type of student who can quietly move mountains with her can-do attitude and her humility. She is unassuming and persistent, polite, kind, and honorable. She is also a team player on the field, as would be attested by her teammates. We have no doubt that Nicole will attain all her future goals while earning the respect of all who surround her. We are proud to recognize Nicole for her steadiness of character, embodying the Red Wing tradition. Please join me in recognizing Nicole Barron. Continuing with the recognitions is complete honor this evening to recognize the retirees for 2014. There are 7 retirees, and 6 of them are former graduates of Hoboken High School. These are people that they've given many years of their time to the students and the community of Hoboken. The first one, I'm going to start with Patricia Balfiore. Patricia has been employed as a teacher in Hoboken for over 20 years. She, as a product of the Hoboken public school system, and she comes from a family rich in the tradition of educating Hoboken's children. Her brothers, Anthony and Larry, who have since passed on, were teachers in the high school as math and science teachers, and also social studies. The Lawrence Yaculo Award for Science and Social Studies is named in her brother Larry's honor, and has also served as the longtime president of the credit union. Pat has taught the students of Calabro, Wallace, and most recently Connors in various grade levels, and was a considerate and caring teacher and colleague. We wish her a happy and enjoyable retirement and thank her for her years of service to the children of this district. Congratulations, Patricia. Our next retiree, a graduate of Hoboken High School, 1976, Carmine Ranga. Carmine spent 34 years, 67? 1967, I'm corrected. 34 years of service in the Hoboken Public Schools. In 1967, he was on the championship baseball team. During his years in the school district, he served as a basic skills teacher, an elementary teacher, and most recently as disciplinarian. We wish him a happy and enjoyable retirement, and we thank him for his years of service to the children of our district. Please join me in recognizing Carmine Ranga. This time I'd like to call up Miss Pika Pietra to do the next retirement.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to honor Mr. Gonzalez. So, Mr. Gonzalez was born in Puerto Rico to Domingo and Tomasita Gonzalez. He has a sister, Lucy, and a brother, Edwin, and they all migrated to Hoboken, New Jersey on November 19, 1959. Mr. Gonzalez was, too, a product of the Hoboken school system. He attended Keeley School, Demerish Junior High, and graduated from Hoboken High School. He earned his college degrees from Fairleigh Dickinson and JCU. Education is not the only thing he has longevity in. Mr. Gonzalez has been happily married for 35 years to Mary Kay, and they raised 3 lovely sons, Reuben, Robert, and Kevin. He has 2 daughter-in-laws, 1 soon-to-be daughter-in-law, as well as 3 grandchildren. Mr. Gonzalez has been an educator for 39 years, all in the Hoboken Public School District. He is highly qualified as an ESL instructor. Over his years in the classroom, he has applied many models in order to help students meet success. His resume is quite extensive. He served as student council advisor from 1989 to 2010, assistant varsity baseball coach from 1986 through 1996, assistant track coach 1994 to 96. His junior varsity baseball team won county championships in 1990, 1992, 1994, and 1996. He served as a vice principal for 1 year in 2001. He was on the superintendent's advisory committee in 2006 and 2007, member of the Middle States team, coach of the year in 94, teacher of the year in 94, and Hispanic educator of the year in 2011. The one thing I always remember about Mr. Gonzalez is even on dress down days, he wore a 3-piece suit to work. He is a true professional whose demeanor towards his colleagues and his students has remained positive and energetic to this very day. He's a role model to his students as well as to new teachers at Hoboken Junior Senior High School. The one thing I also know about Mr. Gonzalez, as he knew he was going to retire this year, and as the district adopted the new Danielson model, he vowed he would learn this model and implement all these new strategies in his classroom that align with this very model. He did just that. His classroom was rich with student work, and he engaged students using group work and other techniques that allowed him to put the students in the middle of the classroom. Mr. Gonzalez had told me that while he knew he was leaving, he never wanted anyone to think that he slacked in his last year, and not a chance. Mr. Gonzalez will always be a professional, and I know that Hoboken Junior Senior High School will miss his professionalism and his smiling face in the hallway. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, for all the years you have given us, and we wish you nothing but health and happiness on your new venture, retirement. We miss you.
Thank you, Ms. Pick. At the end of our presentations, I would ask if any of the retirees would like to come up here and say a few words. You can. So you'll have that opportunity so you can get those words in your head. At this time, I would like to call up the principal from Connors Elementary, who will continue our program recognizing one of his teachers who are retiring, Mr. Fitzhugh.
Good evening, all. Mr. DePinto began his career in the Hoboken public school system at Kearley School about 40 years ago. He was teaching an elementary self-contained class. Mr. DePinto worked in that building for approximately 5 years. He was then transferred to another building to teach the same type of class. The school was closed to become a residential development center. From there, Mr. DePinto was transferred to Wallace School. During this point in his career, he began to pursue and completed 2 master's degrees, one of which was in special education and the other in computer science. During this time, he also obtained an elementary certification and a supervisor of instruction certificate. When the middle school program became available, he was transferred to Brant School as a self-contained teacher. After working there for about a year, Mr. DePinto became a pull-out inclusion resource teacher for grades 5 through 8 in the area of mathematics, as well as language arts. Following that experience, Mr. DePinto had the opportunity to work as an in-class support mathematics and language arts teacher, mostly with 8th grade students. When the district no longer had a middle school, Mr. DePinto was then transferred to Connors Elementary as both a pull-out and in-class support teacher for both mathematics and language arts literacy. The last 2 years of his career was focused on in-class support in the area of mathematics. Mr. DePinto has worked in the Family Friendly program, the after-school program at Connors Elementary for approximately 12 years. Also, apart from his services in the classroom, he was a member and still remains a member of the School Climate Committee as well as the Multicultural Committee. To that end, congratulations to Mr. Joseph DePinto on his retirement, and we thank him for 40 years of impeccable service. We're going to miss you at Connors, Mr. DePinto. You are a class act.
She may be small in stature, but you can always hear her a block away. Our next retiree, Louise Basha. It's an end of an era for the Hoboken Public Schools. After 39 years of hard work and dedication, one of the most beloved and respected teachers is retiring. Ms. Basha began her career with the Hoboken Board of Ed as a Title I teacher at St. Joseph's School, where she taught 5 years. She was then reassigned to teach both 5th grade and kindergarten, which is where her true passion lied. During one of the many restorations to the building, she was placed in Calabro School, where she taught kindergarten and 1st grade, and eventually became the librarian and computer teacher. Not only has she impacted the life of students all over Hoboken, but as president of the Teachers Union, a position she held for 15 years, she was given the opportunity to help fellow colleagues. Anyone who knows her, knows that she is a force to be reckoned with, and her tireless fight for teachers' rights in the district. Ms. Basha, we wish you a lifetime of happiness as you move on toward your next chapter in life. Congratulations, Ms. Basha. Our next retiree, Linda Fitzgibbons. Linda's worked in the Hoboken School District for over 40 years. She graduated from Montclair State Teachers College in 1969 with a Bachelor of Science in Business Education. After graduation, she taught 1 year at Montclair High School. From there, the next year, in 1972, Ms. Fitzgibbons started teaching in the Hoboken Public Schools. During her tenure in the district, she taught business classes for 14 years at the high school, as well as special education classes for 13 years at the high school, where she was also involved in multiple activities, most memorably serving as class advisor and yearbook advisor from 1974 to 1978. She was also the senior play director in 1978, and class advisor again from 1986 to 1990. After 27 years at the high school, Ms. Fitzgibbons was transferred to Brant School, where she was a resource/inclusion teacher for 7th and 8th grade students. She spent 2 years in this capacity. While juggling a teaching career and raising a family, 2 sons, Adam and Brandon, and a daughter, Kimberly, along with her husband, Tom, she continued her formal education, earning an elementary teacher certificate in 1979 and a special education teacher certificate in 1987. In 1990, she earned her master's degree in special education. Then in 2000, she earned a school social worker certificate. In 2001, Ms. Fitzgibbons was placed on the child study team as a school social worker at Connors School, where she remained there for 4 years. Then she transferred to Brant's child study team for 2 years. After that, she transferred again to Wallace child study team, where she remained there for 5 years. And most recently, Mrs. Fitzgibbons worked with the preschool students while assigned to the preschool intervention and referral team at Brant School. Thank you, Linda Fitzgibbons, for all you have given to the Hoboken Public Schools. You have touched the lives of many students. We wish you good health and happiness on your new adventure. Please join me in congratulating Linda Fitzgibbons. And our last retiree, Thomas Fitzgibbons. Tom Fitzgibbons graduated from the Hoboken Public Schools in 1966. After graduation, he continued his education at New Jersey City University, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts in Special Education and Elementary Education in 1970. He went on to earn his master's degree in Special Education in 1974. Then in 1976, he completed postgraduate work in educational leadership, and in 1978, he continued with another additional postgraduate work, earning a certificate as a learning disabilities teacher consultant. During his tenure in the Hoboken Public Schools, Mr. Fitzgibbons wore many hats. He started out as a special education teacher at PS School Number 8. In 1971 through 1981, he was a special education teacher at Hoboken High School. He was the first special education teacher to teach at the high school level in the state of New Jersey. In 1981 to 1989, he was the director of the Hoboken High School HESPA summer program. In 1981 to 2002, he was a child study team member with the responsibilities as a learning disabilities teacher consultant. 2002 to 2006, he was supervisor of child study teams, the teacher aides, and the alternative proficiency assessment, as well as home instruction. In 2006-2007, he was assigned as a vice principal at the A.J. Demarest Alternative High School for grades 7 through 12. Just a year later, he was appointed principal of that building, the A.J. Demarest Alternative High School, which I know he loved dearly, operating that school as a principal. Him and I had many conversations about that school and when he was there. In 2010, 2014, he's been the director of special and alternative education. He is credited with implementing the design of the ABA program at the Wallace School, a program which is growing on a daily basis. A very successful and positive program for the district that he started. Mr. Fitzgibbons was influential in bringing additional funds into the district during his years from 1976 through 1980. He successfully applied for and was awarded $10,000 per year for the continuation of the special education vocational program at Hoboken High School. In 1974, he was awarded the Maxwell House Mini Grant. In 1979, he co-wrote the initial school-based youth services program grant, which still exists at the high school. Mr. Fitzgibbons leaves Hoboken School District with many fond memories. Most notably, the time he served as the co-class advisor for the class of 1978. Co-class advisor. That means there's someone else with him. That means, right, there was someone else with him. That someone else was Linda, with whom a relationship developed, and they were married in City Hall by the mayor of Hoboken at the time. On the guest list to attend the ceremony was the entire class of 1978. Together, Linda and Tom have combined 85 years of service to the Hoboken Public Schools. Tommy, congratulations. If I can just backtrack before I come back to retirees, I do have a student of the month that just showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to skip them. Okay. This is a student from the April Student of the Month, Wallace Elementary School, Deanna Valafane. Deanna is an outstanding student, complete with commitment and effort. She strives to always do her best and has been respectful the entire year. She is a fantastic role model for every student. Deanna has demonstrated leadership qualities throughout the year. She assists her classmates with classwork when they are struggling. Deanna is a compassionate, sweet, loving girl who will, without a doubt, achieve greatness in her future. Please join me in congratulating Deanna. This time I'd like to invite any of the retirees that may want to say a few words. Not required, but if you want to come up, feel free.
First, I'd like to thank the board, the superintendent, and everyone. Miguel, thank you very much. When you think teaching 44 years and you look at everyone around, you're teaching maybe more years than your age. Thank you. But I'd like to say that it's bittersweet because I'm leaving some great memories. My wife, of course, we met at the high school and we're teaching there. And it's been a great run. And I'd like to say one thing about Hoboken. Every day, I still today, I can't wait to go to work because the students and the staff inspire you to learn, inspire you to improve things, and that's what's important about Hoboken and the Hoboken students. They're the people that deserve the round of applause because these people have been here for a long time, and it's because of the inspiration we receive when we work with our students and look at all the successes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Miko wants to say something.
You're never quiet.
You're never quiet.
There we go.
have been at this microphone many times. Okay. I really, listen, I've been here 39 years. I realize that I now have a principal who, as Tom said, I'm teaching longer than he's old. I'm getting the grandchildren of children I taught. So I realize that, as I said, like Derek Jeter, time to move on. Thank you, really, thank you.
I would like to thank everyone for everything that they've given me. Of course, first of all, I would like to thank God. That's the Almighty. He has given me the strength and courage to teach for 40 years. It's been fun. It's been like ups and downs, but the good always it's better. And my students, I love them dearly, and thank you very much.
Last quote.
Mrs. Gibbs, come on. Say goodbye to your students. They love you. Come on. Come on, Linda.
Oh, she's coming up.
I would like to say that I'm the one out of the 7 that did not graduate Hoboken High School, as Dr. Hernandez said before. I graduated Nutley High School.
That's so good.
But through all my years working here, I certainly felt like a Hoboken student, and I learned with my students and progressed with them as well. I'm still in touch with so many of them. As you know, I was in the hospital recently. I was in a car accident, and so many of them sent me beautiful letters and so many nice things to remind me of the wonderful, wonderful students we had here in Hoboken and how wonderful the teachers were, and working with them, and our lives were here. And it's really, if I weren't in the accident, I probably still would be here. I wouldn't be retiring. But I have to go. It's time. I have to go. But I'd like to thank everyone very much for the opportunity to work here. It was the biggest part of my life for over 40 years, about 44 years, actually. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Before I start, let's hear it for Nutley. Okay, I'm from Nutley, she's from Nutley, she's from Nutley. Okay. I've worked here all my life. I was born and raised here. I enjoyed every minute of my teaching experience, and there's nothing that the Board of Ed wouldn't give me for special ed when I was coming up the rank. Money was no object. Anything you needed, you got. And Tommy Fitz he was always with open arms when you needed something. And Mr. Fitzhugh, the last principal I worked under, the same way. And I wish I could do another 40 years. It was very enjoyable. And great. I don't think I would work in any other district. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our recognition portion. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Should we make comments?
If the board has some comments to make about the recognition.
I just wanted to say thank you for your commitment to the students and to the district and to the community. And I know some of you, I know some of your family, everybody's so interconnected, and I know that it was such a passion, and the students really appreciated everything you did. And my kids didn't have all of you. We had Miss Basha, so I was laughing at Mr. Hernandez's remark. But I wanted to say thank you very much, and good luck and enjoy your retirement.
to start from one end to the
Sure,
next?
why don't we do that?
Okay, I want to wish all of you retirees the best of luck, and thank you for all your years of service to our children. And there's 4 that my children have a very special relationship with. Mr. DePinto in Brant, you had my children. Great memory. Yes, you did. Rory Miller and Kelly Miller. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Yes, your best students, remember? Sure. And Miss Basha, you know my children from Calabro as the librarian. And there were 2 whom my children didn't have as teachers, but they inherited them as family. And that's my cousins Thomas and Linda Fitzgibbons. I love you both dearly, and I wish you would not retire, but I know it's time to go.
Just very, very briefly, I just wanted to tag along on what Fran said. Thank you for your many, many years of service. What I love to see is the consistency factor that many of you have been here over 40 years, over 35 years. I love to see that consistency. That tells us that you were happy in this district. That tells us that you love this district, and we love you for all your support. Thank you so much again.
Shorter and sweeter. I just want to say thank you so much for your service. Best of luck, and have a happy and healthy retirement. All the best.
You all touched on one really important thing. I might not have been, I've lived here for 30 years, and I always felt like Hoboken was home, but it really started to feel like home when my son started going to Hoboken Public Schools when he was in kindergarten. And it's because of all the great teachers here and in our district. And though I only really dealt with Mr. Fitzgibbons in the beginning with my son, he didn't have any of you as teachers, I know that what community you built with the teachers that he did have, and it's so much appreciated. And I wish you great luck and enjoyment, and as you enter this new part of your life, which should be fun and enjoyable, and come back and visit.
I also wanted to thank all the retirees for their many years of service. My children are young and didn't have the opportunity to have any of these teachers, but I know they'll benefit from the traditions and the experience that was shared with the teachers that continue with Hoboken. Thank you so much.
I wanted to thank you guys all for your service and your dedication to our district. You've influenced many people far and wide, and even though I didn't personally have you as teachers, as Jenna said, we both have very young children in the district. I'm sure our children will benefit from your greatness and your legacy. Good luck on your new endeavor, and enjoy your relaxing time, hopefully.
Listening to the citations, I was just moved by the passion and commitment, and that's so evident. So I just thank you for those many years of service, and it inspires me. Thank you.
It's really going to be strange waking up and knowing that you're not going to go to school the next day, and it's a really weird feeling. And I want to thank you so much. Being on the board, I've lived in Hoboken a long time, but I never really knew Hoboken until you're on the school board. And I never realized the trials and tribulations that you go through. I never realized the difficulties and the challenges you have and the joys. And even though I'm still an outsider, I certainly appreciate the fact that you left this school system in good shape. As they say about an old house, and I'm still older than you all, a house has good bones, and you left this school system with really good bones. And I want to thank you. So. Okay, anybody have a handkerchief? Why don't we go with the superintendent's report?
I'm not really quite sure how to follow any of this
You
up.
can't.
Okay, so this evening is, it is very exciting, and it's one of my favorite board meetings of the year because in addition to recognizing our students and celebrating the careers of our retirees, we also get to talk a little bit about our senior class. And so that's an exciting discussion, and especially this year, our students have done so well. So what I'd like to do is pay a little tribute to the senior class and wish all of our seniors well as they move from Hoboken High School on to the next phase of their lives. So for our seniors, congratulations on a job well done, and thank you for all the staff members, as the success of our senior class is a tribute to the excellent work of our teachers over many years. Of course, the greatest support our students need is not from necessarily the teachers or their friends, but from their parents and guardians who stand behind and support them every step of the way. The graduating class of 2014 has secured its place as one of the most remarkable groups of young men and women to grace our halls. The students have flourished academically, with many representing our school proudly on the athletic fields, in theatrical productions, and local, state, and national academic competitions. Congratulations to the Hoboken Junior Senior High School Guidance Department for their role in assisting students with the college admissions process. With the new junior high model, the idea of college and career readiness starts really in the 7th grade. And so that's a topic that students are introduced to at a very early age. The role of our guidance counselors in the college admissions process is well defined, and it emphasizes college admissions as proactive, with a specific set of benchmarks that begin in 9th grade and accelerate rapidly in 11th grade. Guidance hosts college reps for informational sessions for interested students. They organize bus trips to various schools in New Jersey to offer students the opportunity to experience different types of schools with widely varying campus styles. The guidance department schedules instant decision days at Hoboken Junior Senior High School, which is very exciting because the cooperative colleges offer students admission right there in the Hoboken High School guidance department. We bring experts in the areas of admission and financial aid to our school to impart essential knowledge to our students and to their families. We combine frequent one-on-one time between students and counselors with technological resources to help our seniors maximize their opportunities. By the end of the junior year, our counselors made certain that all the students had developed a list of colleges that they were interested in using Navian software. When senior year begins, counselors immediately begin meeting with seniors to narrow down and finalize their list of colleges, while also confirming their testing requirements, test dates, and having making sure that they're registered for the tests they need to take for each college that they're interested in. By the earliest days of winter, our students have fully researched, finely tuned list of colleges to which they applied. Perhaps the most noteworthy detail of this class's college application is the geographical range among the schools. That's one thing that's unique for this year's class. So 106 graduating seniors, it's a small group, submitted a total of 379 applications to 149 institutions across 27 states. Approximately half of the applications submitted by our students yielded an offer of admission, leaving our seniors with some exciting options and some difficult choices. A brief summary of their outcomes. This year's senior class, 54% of the students will be going on to a 4-year college, 25% will be going on to a 2-year college, military 2%, undecided 20%. The numbers reflect a 3% increase in our overall college-bound population and a 6% increase in the number of students attending 4-year schools. The other important point about that is the 25% of our students that are going on to a 2-year school, to a community college, regularly turn that into a 4-year college experience simply because the community college offers a great opportunity, particularly New Jersey STARS scholarships, allow students to attend community college free of cost, continue their education at Rutgers University. So there's a wonderful opportunity that many students take at our high school. Senior class managed to generate big scholarship money this year, with our current total being over $1.8 million in institutional scholarships, and locally, local businesses, local families have contributed $49,000 for local scholarships, and you'll read about many of those at the end. So just for sake of comparison, in 2012, so 2 classes ago, institutional scholarships accounted for about $1.3 million in financial aid for our students, and local businesses accounted for $36,650. So you can see that our total scholarship amount is increased by about $500,000 in just a few years. So that's a wonderful thing for the students that allows them additional opportunities and maybe the ability to attend colleges they maybe thought might be out of reach. But it's emblematic of a class that wanted to and was encouraged to search thoroughly for the school that provided the best fit for each individual. The schools that our graduating seniors will attend next year include some of the most highly regarded colleges and universities in our country. So one in the back, I've included our list of colleges that have admitted our students. So that's one thing for the public to see. But anyway, the students have been accepted to Rutgers, Rowan, New Jersey Schools, Ramapo, College of New Jersey, Montclair State, to liberal arts schools in New England, private colleges. And we have 2 students who will be attending Drexel University in Philadelphia next year. They'll be going together. Our valedictorian will be relocating. She'll be moving to Pennsylvania to enroll at Bucknell University, which is a very nice college, considered one of the hidden Ivies, which admits less than 30% of the applicants. Meanwhile, our salutatorian will be venturing much further west with the intention of matriculating at the University of California, Berkeley. Very impressive, high-ranking, sprawling public research institution, also regarded as a public Ivy. So I'm very happy to report that the National Honor Society, in transition now, the National Honor Society had their induction ceremony last week. And very happy to see that we have 28 members of our student body who are members of the National Honor Society. The school inducted 13 new members, and so it was a very nice event for the students and their families. It was also nice to hear about the seniors and where they'll be attending college. This past week, our students enjoyed an excellent prom held at the Grey Cliff in Moonachie. We had an excellent crowd, and I'm happy to report that, really, to be completely honest, it was one of the nicest proms I've been able to attend, and I've attended quite a few at this point. So it was a very, very nice event, and thank you for the class and also for the advisors who've did a wonderful job in preparing for the event. As far as our athletic programs, we did have one team that was in competition up until last week. So unfortunately, the season came to an end for our softball team last Thursday in a disappointing way. We played one of the best teams in New Jersey, which is Butler High School, okay? And that's a team that had a 26-3 record. We gave up 1 earned run. We faced one of the most dominant pitchers in the state of New Jersey. We competed well against one of the top teams, but ultimately in the end, we wound up losing the game 5-1. But they were still North 2 Group 1 champs. And so other than the 2007 softball team, that's about as far in the state competition, the state playoffs that we've ever been. So congratulations to the girls softball team. Also, the other thing is I'd like to mention that also special congratulations to Coach Vinnie Johnson. He's a first-year coach, okay? And he did a wonderful job. So I'd like to announce for our parents that the academic summer school at Thomas Connors Elementary will be offered for students in grades 3 to 6. Students will be submerged in authentic instruction in language arts and math. The program will run Tuesdays through Thursday from 8:30 a.m. till noon, and Fridays students will take trips within the community. So I remind parents to please apply by June 19th for the summer program. It is open to all students in the district, if you're interested in the summer program at Connors School. Also, as far as Connors School news goes, the Positive Behavioral Intervention and Support Program has a yearly event that's sponsored by the New Jersey Department of Ed, and it celebrates schools which have exhibited decreases in student office referrals and incidents. So I want to congratulate the Connors School, the Connors team, who had an opportunity to present their work at this event. So a very nice thing. Congratulations to Principal Fitzhugh. This event happened on May 20th, and it highlighted many of the successes that they see at Connors School. The Red Wing Reader, Hoboken's only student newspaper, has won a second-place award from the American Scholastic Press Association. So under the guidance of advisor Ms. Melinda and the leadership of Editor-in-Chief Alex Yoon Hendricks, this year's newspaper earned 810 points out of a possible 1,000 points in this nationwide contest. So congratulations to all of our students and our staff members with the Red Wing Reader, say that 10 times in a row, right, for another great performance and another excellent award, bringing back to Hoboken High School. Also remind parents and residents, come join the theater and music department for their annual end-of-year showcase fundraiser. Students from the entire district will be participating and will be performing at Hoboken Junior Senior High School on Friday, June 13th at 7 p.m. The showcase is to highlight the many excellent musical, theatrical, and dance performances from the past year, as well as several new solo medleys. So selections will include numbers from the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, The Little Mermaid, along with a variety of other different performances. Tickets are $5 per person. Refreshments will also be sold. Finally, as we wrap up the year, I'd like to remind all of our residents, in the case of an outdoor graduation ceremony, it's June 6th at 6 p.m. at Kennedy Stadium. And that allows anybody who would like to come to attend. If it's indoors, then that's another story. Tickets will be distributed to families, and then we have a limited number of people who are able to attend.
25th? June
26th. 26th at 6 p.m. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed up. Sorry. Yep, don't show up the 20. Okay, you're right. I messed it up. Okay, so it's June 25th at 6 p.m. My apologies. So hopefully no one shows up the 26th. I don't think so. Okay, so that concludes my report, except for I do have to do one thing that's not really related to my report. I have to talk about, there are some minor changes with the agenda, and it's really just corrections, and it has to do with the scholarships, okay? So right now the agenda reads that there is one $250 award given for the 2014 Class Advisors Award, but there are two $250 awards, okay? So there's two, that's all, that's not a big deal. Instead of one award, there's two awards, so that's a good change.
What number?
Okay, which one is it?
It's just under the...
It's under those scholarships. It's under all the scholarships, okay? So, number 36.
Thank you.
Okay? And the other minor change, also related to scholarships, the Ralph Rodriguez Memorial Award in the amount of $500 will not be awarded this year at our senior awards dinner. So we received notice, short notice after the agenda was produced, and so therefore that scholarship should be removed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? And those are our only changes. Okay?
Thank you much. We have the BA's report.
Yes, the district continues to advertise in the local newspapers as well as the district website for various proposals for bids and proposals for services. Two that are currently up on our website and have been advertised have to do with special education services. The other one is the flood protection door and window barrier project, which will be funded by the Sandy recovery funds from the United Arab Emirates. And we're also putting our final touches on a proposal for professional services. Professional services for network upgrade. That's one that'll be funded by Sandy recovery funds. The flood protection is related to FEMA, so I misspoke there. But this upgrade for the network will provide a coverage for not only the junior, senior high school, it'll also touch Brant, Calabro, Demorest, and Wallace. And the documentation should be available shortly, not only as advertised in the newspaper, but also copies could be retrieved off the website. Thanks.
Okay. We are going to break for executive session. I guess, why don't we announce what it's for again? And it'll be about an hour.
The three matters for the executive session, Mr. President, personnel matters, pending litigation, and collective bargaining.
Thank you. A motion?
I move
Motion. Second.
Okay, for executive session. Have to do anything to get back in session?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Yes? What do we have to do? I can't make the motion. Who wants to make a motion to get back in session?
I move that we come out of closed session.
And I second it.
Okay, we're out of...
For you.
All right. We're going to have the committee reports now. Finance?
Finance, we met on a week ago Monday from 8:30 in the morning till about 10 o'clock. We reviewed all the agenda items. Items 10.1 through 10.5 are normal monthly things. We reviewed those. Those are the payrolls and expenses. Those all seemed normal. 10.6 through 10.14 and then 10.17 through 10.19 are a series of renewals and reappointments, sort of procedural things that we do as this school year comes to an end that we need to have in place as we start the new school year. Naming Mr. Moffitt as the board secretary, things like that. I think the only two issues that are of interest to the board are 1016, which is the lease, renewal of the lease for the Hoboken Charter School. We renewed the Elysian Charter School lease, I believe, at the last board meeting, and this lease is similar. It's a modest 3% increase, reflecting only increase in costs, heat and utilities and things like that. So that we've reviewed and that's recommended. And then we have to acknowledge the $1,000 donation from the Hoboken Education Association to the class of 2014, $1,000. So thank you for that. That's all.
Okay. Facilities?
Okay. Facilities Committee met on Monday, June 2nd. Attendees was myself as the chair, Leanne Golo as president, Tim Callaghy, the facilities director, Sodexo staff. We had Dorian, I'm sorry, I don't remember her. Do you remember her last name? I couldn't write her. What?
Sam.
Thank you. And Jeffrey Bakeman, John Pepperota, and Brian Beanie. Sodexo offered options to increase revenue and expand their programs. Sodexo is reaching out to to Daycare 100 just to expand their services, and they seem receptive. Connors Storm Mitigation Project. Tim Callaghy described the Connors Storm Mitigation System that'll be installed. I believe it's going out for bid. It's very interesting in its design. It's the doors and windows. It's a setup. Let's see. It's a doors and windows system. It's set up as a barrier that are the doors and windows near the floodplain, and they'd be outfitted with like a membrane or barrier system where air would be pumped in the frame, and it would seal out stormwater. So that system will be set up. The Connors Pre-K construction will be ready for September. 2 out of 3 classrooms are already constructed and ready, and one office will be completed by the start of the school year in September. The Wallace Intercom replacement system will be installed next week. It was a rather low cost. It was only about $22,000, and it also integrates an instant 911 identifying each classroom. The system will allow 911 to be dialed, and authorities would be notified of the specific location where the call was placed. It's installed not only in classrooms but in the library and the cafeteria. The Demarest boiler replacement will be installed in July, and the new boilers are smaller than the older ones, but will be much more efficient. And concludes the report.
Great. Governance?
The Governance and Personnel Committee met on June 4th from 10 to 12:30. In attendance were myself, Dr. Toback, Vito Gagliardi, Leon Gold, Ruth McAllister, and Irene Sobolov. We discussed legal matters and also all of the agenda items. And I also did want to point out the many scholarships on the agenda. Very nice things for our graduating seniors. And thank you to everyone.
Great.
Yes, Athletics and Performing Arts met on June 4th. In attendance was myself, Dr. Hernandez, Ms. Evans, and Dr. Gold. Under athletics, the agenda items were discussed, including the coaching positions that you see there. The Senior Athletic Awards Dinner was held on May 29th at Wallace, so congrats to all those seniors that are leaving us. And then a big congratulations, as Dr. Toback said, to the girls' state sectional championship softball team, North 2 Group 1 champs. So congrats to them. Then performing arts, it was announced that Miss Miller, who is our drama teacher, has been invited to teach a workshop at next year's NJEA Teacher Convention, so congrats to her.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. District students participated in the Hudson County Teen Art Show at NJCU, and Brittany Colon received the Judges Award in small group drama, and Willie Allen received the Judges Award in the solo vocal category. So congrats to them. On May 29th, the Hoboken Public Schools had the honor of kicking off the Hoboken's Concerts in the Park series at Sinatra. It was a great event featuring students from all the district schools, including the choruses and the ever-growing string program and the Rocking Red Wings. It was a huge audience and a great show, and a preview for the full spring concert, which was held in the auditorium on June 4th. The theater department, as Dr. Toback said, it was having their annual showcase on June 13th. And that showcase will feature students from K to 12 performing the best musical, theatrical, and dance performances of the year. And then I just had a little report. At the end of Little Mermaid, which was on the May 16th, 17th, 18th, Miss Miller gave kind of a thank you speech to all that worked, kind of to let people know how many people actually work on the show. So I kind of wanted to give, if that's okay. It's kind of a little summary of her speech and like little fun facts, let's say, about the theater department. So the all-district Little Mermaid show had 120 students ranging from K to 12 on the stage. There were 12 high school students working as backstage crew, production assistants, and the prop master. And there's such great interest among the students that we actually, on this agenda, have a backstage elements elective for next semester, next school year. 5 students helped construct the sets alongside a set designer who was very impressed with their work and commitment, and they came in after school to build the bigger pieces like the ships, if you saw the show. So they did an amazing job, the students. There were 30 parent volunteers doing a variety of tasks from ticket sales and to arts and crafts during the rehearsal with all those kids waiting in the cafeteria. A variety of employees, including Miss McGreevy, Miss Melinda, Miss Santiago, Miss Kubak, and Mr. Stasiak, gave their time working with the students to sew costumes, put together the playbill, design the posters and the tickets, and organize hundreds of costumes. And then a big thank you to Grace Church, who donated snacks and dinners for Tech Week. The theater department is a popular and very important co-curricular activity for our students, but the drama club, which is separate, has also very active in fundraising during the year. So I just wanted to give a little update on that. Ticket sales from Little Mermaid, which was basically sold out for the 3-night performances, was $9,500. And then the other activities during just the Little Mermaid, which was the school store, the playbills, the boosters, that brought it to a grand total of $17,500 for just the Little Mermaid. Very nice. But wait, we're not done. The previous show and the other fundraisers during the year, which included theater workshops with the elementary students, movie night, caroling, and the tickets from the previous show, brings it up to $22,000 for the year.
Good.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice. Very good. I just wanted to report on that. I thought that was nice for the community to know. And don't forget, next year will be Grease and Shrek the Musical. So, Shrek.
We just started negotiation with the Hoboken Educational Association. I want to thank you for the cooperation that we've had. And we're going to meet tomorrow again, so, and we will. Actually, as far as the district goes, we're breaking even with the food service, so we're not going to have to put any money out.
That's great.
Which I'm very happy with. And I really want to thank everybody that contributed to the scholarships. I can't read every, but please look at your agenda and look at everybody who gave. A lot of people give and they don't get any credit, and it's real money. And I just want to thank all of you. What I'd like to do now is have the public portion.
Mr. Chair, could we ask questions regarding the committee reports?
I'll let you, either we could do it after the public on the agenda, or would you like to do it before? Either way, which would you prefer?
Well, normally we do it before, so could we just do it before? Okay. So yes, in your president's report, you just mentioned the food services debt and that we're breaking even, but that doesn't mean that we're also reducing the debt, correct? The debt is still there.
The way the food services worked was that the food company would eat a certain amount, and after that, if the losses were greater than that, we would have to contribute. We're not going to have to contribute.
We're not going to have to contribute. Okay, excellent. And I don't, Ruth, Ms. McAllister, I don't know if you presented a curriculum report, but I have a curriculum question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
In terms
We did it
of
the last meeting, yeah.
Okay, in terms of backstage elements, I was just curious what the course is. Is it part of the theater program, or?
It's an elective.
Okay.
I think it must be under, is Tamika still here? Is it under language arts? Oh, it's under theater arts.
So it is technically part of the theater program, and it teaches students just about.
Yeah, but any child can choose it. It's a high school elective.
I see.
So.
Okay, I was just a little confused about what it was. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other board members? Okay, we have public. How many people are talking about agenda items? 4. Okay. Please state your name, your address, and you'll have 5 minutes, since there's only 4.
First speaker is Brian Murray.
Brian Murray, 701 Monroe Street. I'm going to speak on 3 agenda items that are all tied together. I have hope that you'll do the right thing tonight. Agenda item 11.02, increasing the budget by $30,000 to continue your war against OLA is 11.02. I really hope that you choose to put that money in the classrooms, for teachers, or for aides on buses, and not giving it to the attorneys for some ideological fight that just can't be won. And the reason why I call it an ideological fight and not a real fight is because if this were about all of the charter schools, then you wouldn't have given a sweetheart deal to Elysian at the last meeting, and there wouldn't be a sweetheart deal for Hoboken Charter, item number 10.16 on this agenda. Now, you can't have it both ways. You can't, on one hand, say, well, the Board of Ed is separate from the charters, and we need to limit the amount of charter students so that they'll come to the public school and we'll have more money to spend on all kinds of things. And at the same time say, well, let's give these two charter schools space in our facilities at a reduced rate, and we'll just pick these two and not, and we'll go to war against the other one and try to sue and fight them as much as possible. See, because then what happens is then, if for some reason you were somehow successful with the 50,000, which used to be 20, by the way, it was 20,000, now it's going to be 50,000 that's taken out of my kid's classroom, because I have 2 kids in the public schools. So you're taking it out of my kid's classroom and other kids' classrooms to pay the lawyers. So now, even if you are successful on this, what's going to happen is that those folks from OLA who have attorneys are going to say, well, now wait a second. You're claiming this over here, but over here you're supporting these other charter schools. So you can't support some charter schools and not support other charter schools with the same argument, because then you're going to have to pay more attorneys, and there's going to be less money in the classroom again. And if this really were about the money, then you would be taking care of the money. And that's where it brings me to agenda item 10.17 that Mr. Kupfel just kind of glossed over, which is the increase in paralegals from Mr. Cagliardi's firm, an 8% increase to $135 an hour for paralegal work. Now, based on a 2,000-hour work year, that's basically a $250,000 paralegal that we're paying for here, an 8% increase, of course. I understand that there's a business model where it's a third for salary and a third for overhead and then a third for profit for the firm. So really what we're doing is we're paying for $83,000 paralegals here that we're actually paying $250,000 for, when if you just go online and do like a 2-minute Google search on what a paralegal makes in New Jersey, the number is really about half of that $83,000, which is still only a quarter of the $250,000 we're paying for them. So if this were truly about money, then we would be watching the money part, that part right there. So it's not about the money, then what is it about? And it's not about the charter schools, because now we're helping Hoboken Charter and Elysian Charter, and hey, they're great charter schools, and those families deserve whatever they can get in terms of their education. But when you're helping two, and you're saying it's about the money, is it really about the money, or is it some sort of a war against OLA? Is there some hidden political agenda? And I would just caution your vote here, that this is your vote. This isn't to be blamed on Dr. Toback, who may find greener pastures in Wayne soon, and that's what they say on the internet anyway. But this is your vote. This isn't Dr. Toback's war. This is your war. So you have to live with this vote. Thank you.
Next.
Christine Hoffman.
Christian Hoffman, 547 Bloomfield Street. Ms. McAllister, I'm sorry, you've been looking at your
No,
phone.
no,
wondering if you're
I'm
listening.
doing the timer.
She's
and I
doing
have
the
to
timer. Okay, I'm sorry.
I have to
All
keep
right.
touching it so it doesn't go to blank. I'm
I'm
sorry.
ready to
I know
start. No,
it's-
I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, now I'm listening.
Now, the last time that we spoke, we had discussed a few things. One of the things we talked about was the cost of this lawsuit. And we had told you, and obviously being educated people, you know that this is gonna cost, we knew more than the $20,000 initially, and Dr. Toback said, oh no, well maybe it'll be ended and whatever, but it's been less than 2 months since that's been filed, and that $20,000 is done and spent, and now you're looking for $30,000 more. And you understand that this is just the tip of the iceberg, it's just scratching the surface, and this process is gonna be a long process. It's only been 2 months, and you've gone through the 20. So this is gonna be a long time thing, and as an attorney, I can tell you, it's gonna cost, I would say, well more than $100,000 if you're continuing on the path that you're going. Thinking about it, think about all the programs that you guys could put in your schools and all the wonderful things that you can be doing for your schools if that money stayed in the public school system. The bus program you got rid of, the teachers you fired. It's just mind-boggling that you would risk this amount of money because this isn't even a sure thing. You're rolling the dice on this, you're spending the taxpayers' money, and it's not even a sure thing, this lawsuit. In fact, speaking with a lot of attorneys, and myself being one, my husband's one, it does not bode well for you. So I'm just wondering how high you're gonna go and what your ceiling is. I'm sure you're not gonna answer me. Secondly, we also talked about your duties and responsibilities and who you report to. Your duty is to the people of Hoboken. In fact, what you submit to the Department of Education as a flow chart, and I showed it to you last time, and the top of it says the people of Hoboken with an arrow down, Board of Education, okay? You're not just here for the traditional public schools, you're here for the taxpayers. I was a prosecutor for the city of New York. I took an oath of office just like you guys did. Mine was to represent the people of the state of New York, and my duty was to the people. So if I had a case, whether or not I believed the defendant was guilty, if I didn't have the evidence, I had to dismiss it. And if I had a case where I had an uncooperative victim, but I had other ways of prosecuting that case, I did that because I was working for the community, not for one person. Unlike, I'm a contrary defense attorney who has one client and only works for that particular person. You guys are not defense attorneys. You represent every taxpayer or citizen in Hoboken, and taxpayers do not want to pay for this lawsuit. They want school choice. They want their money spent responsibly and reasonably for the good of the city. A city thrives with a good school system. People stay for the schools. They spend money in the small businesses and the local businesses, and property values rise. We need to work together as parents, the board, the PTOs, from schools all over Hoboken. We can make the school system one of the best in New Jersey with respect and collaboration, with a system of choice, but not by being divided, not by filing frivolous lawsuits for the sake of doing so. And I would urge you to vote no to the increase of the spending regarding this lawsuit, and please drop the lawsuit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Jason Yoon Hendricks.
Jason Yoon Hendricks, Monroe Street. Some here tonight came to confront the public school board and the administration regarding recent legal actions taken. Others are here to protect the academic and curriculum programming, extracurriculars, and in-class resources. That would be me. Beyond all the emotions, really, everyone is here for exactly the same reason, which is funding. It is about money. There are a few opportunists, but nearly every parent here, regardless of the school their child attends, is here because they want what's best for their kids. Because what is happening with public education in this town is a very real crisis. But let's be clear, it is not the result of bad people on one side or the other. It's not the petition that asks the state to follow their own procedures and do an analysis of the conditions on the ground in our tiny town with so many school districts vying for students. It's not that charter budgets are by law part of the local public district. At once completely independent, yet still a significant portion of the district budget, which has debilitating implications, leaving the public district between a rock and a hard place, with mandatory increases to the charters pushing up against mandatory state caps on tax levies. The crisis is not because the charter schools only get 90% of what the traditional districts get. A reality I was painfully aware of when my children attended a charter school and I was a member of the fundraising committee. It's not the mere presence of charter schools or families that exercise a choice. We made a choice, and our children have achieved amazing things. In their 4 years at Hoboken High School, this school truly achieves its mandate, not only reflecting its community, the true student community, but of serving the needs of its students, and has made my children into better people in the process. But before that, we were happy and proud members of the charter school community. And for the record, our choice was not based on the complexion of the student body. However, it was acknowledged even then as a problem when I served on the Elysian Outreach Committee. All of these things reflect serious fundamental challenges to both our charter and traditional public schools. But at its core, the crisis we have now is the result of systematic underfunding of public education in this state and this country. Now, I have said that the competition among Hoboken schools is a good thing, and I believe that, but healthy competition requires clear rules, and it requires that those rules be observed by all the players and the refs. In Hoboken and other towns all over the state, our public schools, all of us, have been left to scrap around, desperate to both meet state curriculum or testing mandates and maintain essential student programs and resources. The laws taken together favor no one except perhaps the taxpayers. Funding is what it's all about. If all our schools were adequately funded, this wouldn't be happening. We would be competing on our own respective merits. Christie cut state aid by nearly $1 billion in 2010. Last May, the court ordered the administration to give a portion of it back to some of the state's poorest districts. But the sad fact is that it took the courts to compel the states to do the right thing. Unfortunately, that is sometimes what it takes. And again, this is not about bad people, it's about good people, people that want the best education possible for their children. All of us in this room want this. And it is the mandate of this administration and board to serve the needs of the public district students and families, not outside interests. I'm sorry, I believe not taxpayers, and not even teachers or staffers. That is not what the school exists for. But whatever the outcome of all this, we would do well to remember that our biggest problem is not each other. And we would have a much better chance of fixing this underfunded education system if we all work together.
Thank you.
Next. Bill Cohen. If he's not here.
Okay. I'm going to suggest a consent agenda, and then please chime in.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, please, if we could pull agenda item 10.17 and 11.02 for different votes.
You want to make different votes?
Just different votes. I just want to comment on those separately before we vote.
10.17, 11.02.
Correct.
Okay. Any other?
Yes.
Yes.
10.04.
Separate vote, or you want to talk about it?
Separate vote. Well, no, to vote, yeah, separate, for me.
Okay. Okay. Any other ones? Okay. I'm going to call for a consent agenda excluding 10.04, 11.02, and 10.17.
Motion to...
Second.
Okay, please call the roll on that. What's 10.02?
What?
Call roll. Which one, 10.02?
Mr. President, you'd like me to call roll?
What?
Want me to call the vote?
In 1 second, I apologize. No, that's 17. 10.02 is what I'm looking for.
10.02.
I don't see
1017 and 11.02.
And then 10.04.
She was at 10.04.
Yeah, Fran is 10.04.
Okay, where's
Your 10.04 is page
payroll?
2329.
Okay,
Payroll.
fine. I got it. Okay, please call consent agenda excluding 10.04, 11.02, and 10.74.
Right, it was motion by Ms. Sobolov, seconded by Ms. Mitchell. I'll call roll. Mr. Biancamano?
No on 6.01, 6.02, and 10.07. Yes on everything else.
Could you please repeat that?
6.01, 6.02, and 10.07. No. Yes on everything else.
10.07.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Klufeld?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ms. McAllister?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Rose Kearns?
No on the minutes, that's 6.06, 6.01 and 6.02, and yes on everything else.
Ms. Sobolov?
Yes.
Ms. Stromwall?
Yes.
And Dr. Gold?
Yes. Okay, call the vote on 10.04, please.
You want a motion?
Motion?
Second? Jean Marie.
Are we having a discussion?
There's
No,
a-
We have to have a motion first,
Just those
right?
comments before the vote.
You want to go back
Oh,
to
just
10.04?
comment before the vote? No, I'm just
There's
curious.
comment
what we're
before the
doing.
vote.
It's the
Yeah.
payroll, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's France.
Please call the vote.
Mr. Biancamano?
Aye.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Klufeld?
Yes.
Ms. McAllister?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodes Kearns?
Abstain.
Ms. Sobolov?
Yes.
Ms. Stromwall?
Yes.
And Dr. Gold?
Yes. Make a motion by 10:17. 10:17, who wants to make a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Okay, please call the vote on 10:17.
Mr. Biancamano?
Just a quick comment. Vito, I believe you and your team do provide good counsel, but I believe we have to be careful with hiring attorneys, especially when we are trying to reach our ultimate goal of reducing legal fees to the state average, which is at 120 still to this point. So tonight I'm going to vote no on this.
Recorded as a no. Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Klufeld?
Yes.
Ms. McAllister?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodes Kearns?
Vito, I'm also voting no, only because of the increase in the paralegal fees, so I'm voting no.
Ms. Sobolov?
Yes.
Ms. Stromwall?
Yes.
And Dr. Gold?
Yes. Do I have
Is there
a-
one, there's one more, right?
Yeah, we have a motion 11.02.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Biancamano?
Another quick comment. This petition / this lawsuit, people know the way I feel, but I do feel that it is divisive for our community. And we are pouring more and more money into a fight against members of this community. These are the expenditures that taxpayers are coming up to me and they're angry about. And because of Mr. Murray said earlier, more money to lawyers is less money into the classrooms. And I have again asked that we reduce legal fees. And tonight I'm voting no to the lawyers and yes to all the children of Hoboken. Thank you.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Klufeld?
I believe I was elected by the people of Hoboken to represent the children of this district, and they put me in a position to be responsible for this district. I'm going to vote yes.
Ms. McAllister?
This is about, in my opinion, all the children of Hoboken. And it's perfectly acceptable that people have a difference of opinion about why we're doing this. But I truly believe that the unintended segregative effect, which this is addressing, and the ineffective, unfair funding situation by the state does affect every child in this district. And I think spending this money to see if we can get an action by the state on that is worth the money. And this money could also mean, in the 15 to 16 school year, 30 teachers. So to me, I feel that this is what people, that I feel like I am doing what I was elected to do. I vote yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
I vote yes. I support the children of the Hoboken Public School District. That's who I was elected to support.
Mrs. Rhodes Kearns?
I vote no. I can't see spending more money on more lawsuits that may drag on for a long, long time and cost this district a lot of money for the children in our school system that could have received the money for programs also. That's just my opinion, so I vote no. Thank you.
Ms. Sobolev?
Yes, I am an elected member of the Hoboken Board of Education, and I am elected by the people of Hoboken, the good citizens of Hoboken, for the task of educating the children that attend this district. The other schools have unappointed boards, and those boards advocate for their children, and we are elected by the people of Hoboken to advocate for these children. And I don't think it's a fight, and the fight isn't, there's no war with OLA, there's no war with charter schools. There is a request of the state to do their job, and as someone said, it's about playing by the rules. And I think that the charter schools would understand that when state officials don't play by the rules, it's going to impact them eventually too. Because if state officials can willy-nilly make up laws and concerns that impact public local schools and the charter schools, so we are asking the state to do their job, and it's a small investment, I believe, in my heart, as Ruthie does, that this is a small price to pay for what could be a very big price that our children will pay in the future. So I vote yes.
Ms. Stromwell?
I vote yes.
And Dr. Gold?
There's so much emotion with this, but it is about dollars, it is about principle, it is about actually following the rules. And if the state followed the rule, the suit, and actually the petition would have been over with, and if it ever went to a suit, that never would have happened. So it is still, we still could, hopefully, we still could spend less than $20,000 because it hasn't been spent yet. And hopefully the Administrative Law Office would do what I believe they should do, and the cost would not be even 20. I think realistically that's not going to happen, but that's the way things occur. And $50,000 upset versus $1 million every year for a continuing lifespan of the school system. I mean, it's worth the
investment.
It's worth the effort, not even the risk. It's worth the effort. This was definitely good for the school district of Hoboken, but I believe when everything works out, and it will work out, it will be good for the whole of Hoboken. All of Hoboken will look at what are its real constraints, what are the challenges it has to do, what are the trade-offs it must make if you want to fund certain things. So learning experiences sometimes are very painful, and I'm doing it for this district, for the Hoboken Public School District, but I think in the long run it will be for Hoboken also. So I'm going to vote yes. Okay. Public portion, please.
We have two speakers. First speaker is Jason Yoon Hendricks.
Is it 5 minutes?
Did I cut you off early? I had a timer problem, and I'm so sorry if I did.
That's all right. I was
We'll go with your time. We'll go with your time.
No.
Sorry.
No, that's right. But I'm going to need every second of it.
Okay, I'm totally not going to do it this time. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Jason Yoon Hendricks from Monroe Street. As the school year winds down and both our children plan for high school graduation, we busy ourselves with preparation for college and beyond. But as we look ahead, I can't help but also reflect back on how we got here. I've mentioned many times how very satisfied we were with the school district and with the high school. And now with graduation day fast approaching, I find myself just as happy with the choice we made. Hoboken High School has afforded our children numerous opportunities that they wouldn't have found anywhere else. The school offered them a challenging academic environment with more AP and honors classes than many Hudson County schools, public or otherwise. They've learned from passionate teachers and have had a powerful and positive impact on them. They explored dozens of clubs and extracurricular options and competitive performing arts, visual arts, and athletic programs. Unlike so many other public school districts in New Jersey, these programs were also fully funded, from AP test fees to art resources and sports equipment, all things that so many families around the state pay for. Yet what our school does for other children in the community, offering social services and a safe space to at-risk children and providing for special needs students, whatever their circumstances, has been just as important to the growth of my children. This public high school truly achieves its mandate of not only reflecting its community, but serving the needs of all its students. And it has made my children into better people in the process. They've grown into young adults in an environment more like the real world they will live in. And in the classrooms and hallways and on stage and playing fields, they've learned compassion for and sensitivity to others, and they are not alone. There's a cohesiveness and sense of family that runs throughout the small student community, and it's one of the greatest, if underappreciated, virtues of this school. And it reflects in ways big and small every day at Hoboken High School. The school really cares for its students, and the students care about one another. And the year has seen exceptional achievements at the high school, awards and state competitions, so many things that Dr. Toback talked about, and with 79% of the graduating class heading to college or university. If I'm not mistaken, this is well ahead of the national average, actually. And by the way, many of the kids attending the military, which we so often gloss over, and it's a thankless path, are doing so themselves to finance their education. And we're talking about some kids who are the first in their family to attend college, kids from at-risk households who grew up with very challenging circumstances. And Hoboken High School, as we well know, has a higher percentage of kids getting free and reduced lunch, well higher than the state average. So when we hear of the accolades and the championships, and by the way, even the ever higher SAT scores and HESPA scores and AP participation, we should consider them in context and remember that a great school means actually more than all of that. It may not be obvious from the outside, but great things are being achieved in this district. And I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Toback and to Ms. Pick and to all the teachers and staff, and to all of you board members, to every one of you for the commitment that you make and the time that you invest. I have certainly not agreed with every decision that you have made, but surely I cannot argue with what my children have become under your care. So I really, really thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Brian Murray.
Well, I'm actually concerned about what my children will become under your care. Unfortunately, my kids are at the beginning of this process and not the end of this process. And tonight, I've watched this board vote to approve a $250,000 a year paralegal and to spend an extra $30,000 to make it $50,000 on a lawsuit that is a shot in the dark to close your budget gap. That's all this is. I mean, you could talk about it being for the kids, and that's what I keep hearing. I'll tell you, I'm a parent. I have 2 kids. It's not for my kids. I'd rather you spend the money on teachers, on aides that get laid off, on equipment, on things for the school. I'd rather you negotiate with the law firm to maybe pay that paralegal $80,000 and take that extra money and pour it into the, into the classrooms. I'd rather you not get another lawsuit if you don't, even if you do win the OLA thing, which means that they're going to sue you back, and it's not going to be $50,000 or $100,000. It's going to be $250,000 or $500,000. All this money that you think that you're going to save, it's not going to happen. It's not going to be there. Instead, it's just coming out of the classrooms. It's coming out of my kids' ability to get a better education. So I'm not happy with the future in that regard. This whole thing about, you can't on one hand, again, say, we're going to fight the charter school here. We've got to fight the expansion because the state isn't doing this and it's $500,000 or $1 million. And then on the other hand, say, well, this charter and this charter school, we're going to let them come in here. And Ms. McAllister, at least one of those charter schools has the same kind of a demographic as OLA in terms of what you're talking about in the, you quote unquote segregation. Yet we give them a sweetheart deal to come and get space in our schools. Now, how's that going to play out in a classroom? Please tell me, because have you thought this far down the road? Because this is what's going to happen, and where all this money gets paid out of is the teachers. Next year, it's the teachers on the block. You better believe that it is, because I've seen what the numbers look like. Dr. Toback knows the numbers. Mr. Moffitt knows the numbers. I don't know if you guys know the numbers, but next year, when you see what the budget's going to be like, it's going to be the teachers that are going to be staring you in the face with these layoffs. Now you have the opportunity right here to negotiate some better terms. I don't know if that's going to happen. I hope it does. I hope the teachers have jobs, all of them have jobs next year. But this is what's going to happen. All this money that you spend on the side here and the side there, it's going away, and it's not coming back. And and it's going to impact the future of this education, not today's education, but tomorrow's education, when my kids are then in the 3rd and 5th grade. The only other point that I want to discuss tonight, because I think that it's an appropriate time, is that there's definitely some concerns amongst the pre-K parents that we avoid the debacle that we had last year in terms of placement. It's simply, you can blame it all you want on the state, but you know that there are people applying for pre-K 3 programs and pre-K 4 programs now, and that parents need an answer. They need to be able to know what their kids are going to be doing come the start of the school year, and not a week or 2 weeks later. It might sound like only a couple of dozen families, but for those families, it's everything. It's, what do I do? Do I take time off from work? Do I spend my 2 weeks of vacation because I don't have childcare? Do I hire a sitter that I can't afford? I mean, you got to start thinking about, please think about this now, because in 2 months from now, when it's August or when it's September 1st and there are families that haven't been placed, it's on every single one of you right here. It's not on the state, it's not on Dr. Toback, it's on every one of you to come up with a plan. Because honestly, and I think that the public also, deserves an answer on what the status of the future of the superintendent is going forward, because there are very strong rumors out there, and they're not being dispelled by this board. So, that would be a nice answer as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else signed up to speak? Okay, no more public service. No more public portion. Yes, Rita.
Just,
You can keep trying to get him, Mr. Gordon.
Did you sign up, Ms. Wade?
No, Mr. Gordon, you can put me down. My name is the public portion, but you can still acknowledge me. I'm here. I've been 90 years.
Excuse me, Ms. Wade, do you want to sign up?
Yes, with all due respect. Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Then please do that. Wow.
Mr. President, just while we have a moment, since I know that there are members of our firm who live in Hoboken, lest anyone think that we pay paralegals $250,000 a year, if anyone were interested in the actual calculation, assuming that we provide 15 hours of paralegal service in a month, which I think would be a lot. I don't have our invoices here. The cost of this increase to the board is not $250,000, it's $1,800. So that would be an accurate assessment of the impact of that increase. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Please call the next.
Mr. Gagliardi,
Yes.
Can I just make a comment about what you said? You said they work 15 hours a month, a week?
If they provided 15 hours a month of service to the board, the impact of the increase is $1,800.
if they provide that much. But they can provide more, correct, than 15 hours a month?
Well, we have about 90-some-odd lawyers in the firm, so we could provide a lot more services than we do, but you don't need them, so we don't provide them.
Okay.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Pat Waiters.
Hi, Pat Waiters. I'm sorry. I just came from Melbourne. I just want a little clarification because I went to the council meeting and I wondered what's the input. They discussed the OLI lawsuit and I just walked in on the end. Under my impression, I was under the impression that they remodified the language in it. They had a problem with the OLI extension versus the OLI approval. There was a big mess with that. I don't know if you guys got wind of it and if you're looking into it or whatever. It was like item 28 on the agenda. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared. I don't have my stuff with me, but I definitely wanted answers on that because this is the last meeting, right? Before, it's not?
We have another.
We have one more?
Yeah, we
Okay,
have two
thank
in
you.
June.
All right, because I definitely want that to be addressed because they mentioned it with the city council. And I want to know what's the city council's input with the Board of Ed.
Nothing.
I was a little confused, but it was definitely a resolution item. I think it's number 28, but let me get clarification purposes. And it was a problem with the language. So I just want to know tonight, is the lawsuit going through? Where they at with it? Because they remodified it.
Actually, why don't we have the lawyer?
Please,
talk
Mr.
about it.
Gagliardi.
Certainly. So I'm not handling the lawsuit, but I can certainly answer your question. So the issue in the lawsuit is not, and I know there's confusion over the language. I understand exactly what you're talking about.
It was.
The challenge by the board is not over the approval or the renewal of the charter for the school. It's limited simply to the 7th and 8th grade expansion.
Thank you. Okay, that's what I just wanted it on the record because I questioned that night and I didn't get no answers. It was modified. And again, I was in a Hudson Reporter and I gave my sincere apology for what was misinterpreted. Mr. Gold, I read into the language a little further, and my apology to you too. I get a little bent out of shape because I represent the whole community as a whole. I try not to do the color, the ethnics thing, and I get where you was going because I read my letter that I wrote from the charter school when I had an incident with my son. That's why I got a little emotional and I read into the language, but I'm here for all issues. I just want that clarified. And I did extend my apology. I don't know if you got the Hudson Reporter. And like I said, I'm still here as an advocate, a strong supporter, an activist, whatever you want to call it. I'm not here for trouble, I'm just here for peace. And for just, I just want to clear the record because I don't like.
Yeah, let's.
I don't like hearsay. I just want to clear the record. I'm seeing rescind on here, and a few teachers and bus drivers approached me with the layoff. I don't know if that process is still going through. So I'm just hoping that the board can do something to save those jobs. And with Dr. Toback, I'm hoping it's just a rumor that I'm hearing that you're leaving. I would hate to lose you. But, like I said, I'm a straight shooter. I had so much going on with the election today, but I'm saying I hope that's not true what I'm hearing, and, we'll be at least notified appropriately, so we won't be left in the dust. Okay? Thank you guys for everything.
Thank you, Pat.
And have a good night. I hope I didn't get a ticket. I did 100.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to close?
Motion to close?
Second.
The aye?
Aye.